It's fine. Can you let me know if there's anything on this one? Okay, welcome everybody to our workshop on UI, UX, and Figma. I am Yue and he is Boan. So hopefully everyone has scanned the link. Before this workshop begins, I would like to thank our sponsors, SMU for the venue, GitHub, Wizard Zines, Expressive, Fingerprinting for the in-kind sponsorship, CSIT, HTX, and DDAS for the monetary sponsorship, and YouthTech.sg for the judges. And with that, let's begin. So here's what we'll be covering during this workshop. I will be taking you through intro to UX and UI, and then I'll pass the time over to Boan over here, who will lead you through the intro to Figma as well as the Figma demo. So the goals of this workshop is we have three things. Number one, to understand what UI UX design really is all about, because I'm sure some of us here may not necessarily even know what UI UX even means, and that's okay because we're all beginners and we're all here to learn. The second point is to understand the principles of designing UI and UX, because in reality, UI and UX is quite complex to grasp, and there are some guidelines that can help you create a more efficient design. Thirdly, it is to introduce to you Figma, which is a web design software that you can use, especially for the hackathon participants who may need them for brainstorming of your final projects. Or if you are a web developer who is interested in starting your own project, it can help to brainstorm ideas as well. So just a round of self-introduction. My name is Yue, and do you need this?
My name is Boan. I'm a Hatsune Miku enjoyer.
Yeah, okay, 70 hours in Duet Night Abyss, 7 days after release, yes. Okay, so let's move to for UX design. So UX design stands for user experience, but what's that really all about? User experience is essentially the backbone for a lot of websites. It ensures that the users have a meaningful and streamlined experience, making the website easy to use and is efficient. So just to note, UX and subsequently UI design is quite difficult, and people take a while to master it. Like some people even go to like universities to get a degree for this, okay? So don't worry if you are unable to master it right away. You are not supposed to, and do not beat yourself if you cannot. The point of this workshop is to familiarize yourself with what you have to consider when you're working on your designs. Also, hopefully it's a nice break from all the coding you've been doing over like today, because this workshop will be primarily design-based. Yeah, okay, so we talked about UX design, but where does this really come into place? I think this mic is glitching out a bit. Can everyone hear me if I speak like this? Yeah, okay, sure. So when we look at the Google Analytics website, you might think like, okay, this is a pretty normal website. What does UX design really have to do with any of this? But UX design really like influences what how you design the website. For example, if you look at the top of the Google Analytics screen, you can see that there's a navigation bar. And okay, it's standard, right? But this navigation bar doesn't really go away as you scroll throughout the website. And it really just makes sure that the user is able to navigate around across the product, be it to the Google Analytics homepage or the different like Google products, which is quite convenient and ensures that the user doesn't have to like keep clicking around. Or when we look at the progress bar, you can see how like the users are aware of what they need to fill up. And it also kind of serves as an audience retention technique because, like, let's be real, if you see a form and it's like never ending, you're going to feel like you want to kill yourself. So in order for them to like make sure no one clicks off, make sure no one clicks off, you have the progress bar. And then even when it comes to the form filling, they use different fonts to help guide the reading experience. For example, important information is has larger fonts or they are darker in color. And it kind of gets progressively smaller and smaller as you scroll down. Even when it comes to account information, they add instructions so that the users do not have to click to other pages or like look it up on Google before they fill in the details. And these are sort of like the decisions they made with the users in mind. So when it comes to UX design, you have four main principles. Number one, user centricity. Number two, consistency, usability, and user control. And we will get more in-depth into what these mean in the next few slides. Number one, user centricity. User centricity means that you have the users in mind when you are designing, and that you are designing for your appropriate audience. And to do that, you have to first analyze who you are creating for. When you're creating your product, think about the people who are more likely to use your product, and think about what they need. What does this mean? Certain demographic preferences can mean, for example, if you are designing a website for seniors or people who are less tech savvy, you might want a more simple and less cluttered design so that it is easy for them to navigate. On the other hand, on the other side of the spectrum, if you're designing a website for creatives or like artists, maybe they will want a more artistic design, but this design may be more cluttered and more difficult to understand. And in that case, you have to kind of make that trade-off between appealing to different groups of people. Other demographic preferences can include accessibility or access arrangements, especially for those with visual impairments, where you might have to provide high contrast or alt text, as I think the HTML, CSS people have covered in the previous workshop. So let's take a look at the Tan Tock Seng website, for example. You can kind of see that they understand who they're designing for, patients and visitors, because that is literally what they have on the first section of the navigation bar. You can kind of tell that the text is a lot bigger compared to other websites. And this kind of helps the seniors who maybe have cataracts or find it more difficult to read. They even make it very clear and straightforward to navigate. They have the, are you looking for this? Let's be real, not all the websites you see have it so straightforward and laid out for you. They even have certain elements explained. For example, the search bar here literally tells you what to do. And they have a chatbot that pops up right away the moment you access the website. So these are the kinds of accessibility arrangements you might want to consider when you are designing your product. Other things when it comes to user centricity is that you have to consider the user goals. So for example, shopping website, user wants to buy stuff, find new stuff to buy, and save money. And that's how they lay it all out here. Wow, claim your Shopee vouchers. Wow, here's a lot more things you can spend your money on. And this is how they kind of design their website with the goals, the user goals in mind, so that the users can have it straightforward and out there for them to use. Second, consistency. What does the user expect of your product? This means that you generally should align your website design with other designs of a similar type, so that users have similar expectations and know what to expect of your product, so that it doesn't throw people off. If you want a shopping website, you have certain preconceived ideas, right? It should look kind of like this with the vouchers and the options and everything. And of course, it is important to note that when you are designing your website, you might want to stand out a bit more, and it is okay to deviate. But if you are a beginner and you are starting out on your first ever project, I would recommend looking at what other people have already done and aligning yourself with these designs in mind. However, you will also notice that across the different products, the different websites, there's some deviation. For example, Taobao is a primarily Chinese website, and they will cater to more Chinese audiences. So immediately when you first log in, the language is in Chinese, right? And maybe Lazada thinks that their audiences are more interested in vouchers rather than shopping, and that's why their sales and everything are on the first, takes up half of the screen. So these are the kinds of deviations you can consider. Third, usability. This is the link back to user centricity. We need to kind of consider what information we are presenting to the audience. So how much do you think your audience will know how to navigate a difficult site? If the audience doesn't know, then you have to make your website more learnable in the sense that things are more easy to understand and navigate. And this can be done through the way your website is formatted, or the symbols, even down to the symbols that you use. And you might think that maybe, okay, symbols, that seems kind of straightforward, right? Like home screen, I'll just put a house or something and people can understand that straight away. So let's take a look at an example on the other side of the spectrum. This is the Singapore's Writers Festival website. And you can kind of tell that this website is generally targeted towards creatives, which is why their designs are more complicated and not complicated, sorry. The symbols are more abstract. You can see this 3-line bar, no one's gonna know what the hell this means unless they are tech savvy enough. Compare this to the Tan Tock Seng website, for example, where they might even explain out what these 3 lines mean, especially with the how they explain the search bar. So yeah, these are the kinds of choices you want to make when you are designing. Oh, sorry, this is audience retention. to you about UX design, please, because it's kind of dry, and I know that, so I added an audience break. Why is everyone looking? Oh my god. Okay, Ken. So now, when it comes to usability, we have to talk about efficiency as well. How easy is it for the users to achieve their goals? So depending on what your website wants, you might want your user to accomplish a goal straight away. For example, if you are selling a product, if you want a ride-hailing app, you want your user to quickly book a taxi as fast as possible so that they can they give you the money and then you get their business, right? So you want the user to quickly go through all the steps and make it as concise as possible so they don't click away. For another example, say the food delivery apps, the main point for food delivery is to make it accessible and close to your home. So you want to prioritize convenience, and therefore efficiency is quite important as well. Fourthly, user control. How much autonomy will the user be granted? This might seem a bit difficult to understand at first, but you generally just have to keep in mind that there are two ends to the spectrum. One is the fixed websites and the other one is the fluid websites. So a fixed website would mean it's a more rigid experience, as in the user cannot really customize how they experience your website. Why am I using the mic? Sorry, I forgot about that. So when it comes to a rigid website, you kind of have a very preset goal in mind. For example, filling up a form, you can't really do anything except click back and forth across the forms, right? But when it comes to fluid websites, you want the user to click around different pages and explore on their own. So they have their pros and cons. For example, fixed websites allow you to achieve something right away, whereas fluid websites, you might want to use it to waste the audience's time. Example, social media platforms, right? You want them to spend as much time doom scrolling as much as possible, so you don't really give them a fixed path. They can do whatever they want. And think of it as a spectrum, and the way you can make a website more fluid is in the form of customization, undo buttons, and okay, so customization, light and dark mode. How does it look like? Discord. So many customization things. You can spend a lot of time on the customization page of this website and you will never get bored because there's so many things to try out. And they're just trying to sell you things while you're doing that. And maybe that is what you want with your product. And maybe that is something you will want to work towards. So just to recap, UX design has 4 main points. Number 1, user centricity, consistency, usability, and user control. You can also find this in your Figma file as a short recap. So now we've talked about the UX design and the principles. We have to learn how to format it. When it comes to formatting UX, you will want to consider the user flow. And what the user flow is basically outlining how a user navigates their website. It considers their goals and outcomes and how they might use your website as a whole. And you can format this through the form of flowcharts. So this is an example of a flowchart for a shopping app. You land on the home page, then you go to product selections, view product, view more images, add to cart, view cart, checkout flow. Straightforward. However, you also have to consider the different variations in how the user might use it. For example, after they view more images, maybe they're kiasu and they want to see what other people have been saying, so they click on additional reviews. Click on additional reviews, they're satisfied, add to cart. But click on additional reviews, not satisfied, they want to go away and find other things. Then you go to view product selections. Similarly, after they are done buying their product, they can add it to cart and then continue shopping. And you have to consider whether or not you want to add these options for your users and the appropriate buttons for them to quickly navigate between the different options here. But it is quite important that you have to remember when you're planning out your flow chart, each box is a screen that you will have to code out. So try not to get overboard if you are rushing for time during your hackathon. But if you have a lot of time on your hands and you want to and you want to give the user a satisfactory user experience, then you might want to consider that. Another way you can format your user flow is through the use of wireframes. Wireframes essentially is a flow chart but more fleshed out. And it looks like this, something like this. And you can kind of notice how the arrows here will direct you to different screens. And you have to also plan out what your design is, etc., etc. Another point to note is that you'll also see from the welcome page to the bank login screen, it is 5 screens long, which depending on you might seem quite inefficient and could be more concise. Similarly, if you want to go from the bank login screen to payment, that's 9 screens long. And you have to think about whether or not you really want your users to be clicking through all that. And here's another example of a wireframe. This was taken from the UI UX activity from last year. But these are 3 frames, right? Tourist app, explore destinations, click on this button here. You go to Annie's Mountains. Oh, shit, Machu Picchu looks pretty interesting too. You click on that. Then you go to Machu Picchu. Okay, that seems pretty straightforward. But when we look at the buttons required, you can kind of see where the coding aspect kind of gets more complicated. You have to have buttons not only linking back and forth between the different pages, you might want to consider whether or not you want to link different elements as a button as well. And that's another thing you have to code out. So these are some considerations you want to have in mind when you are designing. Okay, this is another thing you might want to consider when it comes to UI UX design. This is hi-fi, lo-fi prototyping. This is a term that you might not necessarily need, but it is a term that they use in the UI UX field nonetheless. Fi in this case, hi-fi, lo-fi is not the music genre, but rather Fi stands for fidelity. You can read the Cambridge definition here, but what it means is basically how fleshed out you think the work, your final prototype is. For example, lo-fi prototypes are your flowcharts, or maybe even like your wireframes, but in less fleshed out pictorial form. It helps you to spot gaps in your UX, meaning that if there's something missing, you are able to quickly rectify the error. And it generally helps with the UX designers when they are just trying out things for the very first time, and they want to make quick adjustments straight away. Hi-fi prototyping would be your wireframes. It helps with your visualization because it means that you have to nail down your design palettes and all your branding and imagery straight away. And it does look nice and more fleshed out, but it is more difficult to make major changes afterwards. So you want to use this only if you have the time. And generally, people only use this if they are trying to propose something to like a major company, etc. However, if you are a hackathon participant who is rushing for time, I would recommend sticking to lo-fi prototyping only. Okay. So now that we've gone through all about UX, I would like you to try coming up with a flowchart for a ride-hailing app. For example, Uber, Gojek, Grab, etc., and submit on Padlet. What does this mean? How does a user go from logging in to the app to booking a cab? And the best charts will be given a prize in this secret mystery bag that I have over here. Oh, what could be inside? So you can go onto the Figma file that we have, or use any other drawing site of your choice. You have to create a flowchart that looks like this, and kind of think about the considerations that come with designing the user experience for a user. And you will be given maybe about 15 minutes. We'll see how long it takes for you. And you may begin. Just for those who are using the Figma file, you can find the activity area over here. Though we haven't taught you guys Figma, so you kind of have to figure it out yourself. Remember to make a copy before you start. I'm going to play Billie Eilish. Oh, I don't like this.
Wait, how many slides are we have after this activity? Oh, wait, let me.
I'm third way. If your face is this.
How many slides are after?
I'm on slide 30. There's 29.
Okay.
Nice to go fast.
Yes, you don't take breaks between sentences. It's like a YouTube. It's like one of those YouTube clips optimized for engagement.
Yeah,
you don't take
exactly.
breaks in between sentences.
Does that help with audience retention?
I don't think audience retention is really the point. The big
But it's
point.
an understanding.
Yes, it's understanding.
Okay, I'll try.
Like stop J cutting yourself.
Stop. Sorry?
A J cut is when it's like an audience retention and it's like you shift the audio so like there's no breaks in between spaces. Actually faster because we actually start the first syllable or like the first word before like the audio clip, the previous audio clip even ends.
Okay. So it's difficult to listen to me.
Yes, you speak way too fast. You just add those break in between your sentences.
Sure.
Suddenly, like, yeah.
Can you just like open the pen?
Okay. Like it's been like 27 minutes.
I mean, it's a Figma. It's not going to take a while, right? How does it work? I'll start at 4 seconds. Okay, let me go around and see if they need help understand. I mean, should I do that? I feel like I should do that. Yeah. I'll try to do that. Yeah. You want? You can definitely.
How heavy mainstream music is.
Should I play later again?
Look at my like songs.
Oh, creep my radio. Okay, that's not bad.
I like electioneering better.
Okay. Sabrina Carpenter. Yeah. Okay, we have how many more? Okay, one third to the workshop. One third to the workshop. Well, at least we know it's not too fast. Right? I feel like at some point this is gonna get really dry.
Second, I might. The DK cash shop that. I mean, the DK cash shop. And it's
I have some left for you. They won't take it.
Outside and both my skin glider.
Gnarly, my cat sounds.
I never listened to it.
Then I'll find someone
The cat. Should I add more like sideways or subscript and section?
No, no. It's like a one-time thing that it's not possible.
I get it.
Someone to call mine. Everybody's falling. Everybody's falling. Everybody's falling.
，Justin Bieber。
It's like okay. Okay, Saturday. Actually, no, not like the movie.
You can like no surprises, but it's like damn sad. You need the vibe, you know.
I have no idea what the plan is.
4 more minutes.
This wasn't the magic, right?
Oh, sorry, guys.
God damn it.
She's candy training.
That's like the good stuff.
Oh, if you want, you can go and get like the enamel pins, but I don't really care.
It's the thing from like your teeth. Like, think of it. Wait, song. Like, hear me out. Okay. Like the very yeah, and then go to China. They hit all the different and then they like using the kids. Oh,
Hey, that's not bad.
what were you planning to say other than sons?
Not that much. Saying like, oh, if you need inspiration, you can take from you can take from this website and then give examples of what the palettes can be. So, is it like not necessary?
No, the way I was thinking of it is
You can add on if you want it, you.
it's better.
Sorry?
It's better. But the way I like what came to my mind is you see how Google all their products are like try like the same, you know.
Team vibe.
Is it like the workplace store for every like app you come across, theme is like the colors of the buttons and all that is all the same.
Oh, okay. I'll try to remember to say that.
But you don't have to something like just
Can check the pattern. What the shit?
I know I have to judge and I know I have to just only inside my
Sure, there's a break after this.
Yeah.
Good job, Sue.
You want me to go through the tables during this, like before? Wow, this is like some code shit.
So something else.
Okay, can you go through that?
Never knows their eyes, yeah.
Do people need more time for submissions? I'm gonna like give you till the end of the song.
Oh my gosh, shit, I'm just slow. I'm gonna not play for Shivani for that.
Why do I hate this size?
Shivani confirm will complain me.
Why?
That's not square. That's not square anymore.
Oh,
She confirm, I confirm gonna go play. Like, not my first time. Yeah, not my first time.
oh, wow.
因为我都有 look at it for the Five, six, seven, eight.
The whole part is very back.
Oh, I think it's because we're not too close to the mic. Yeah. I think you might have to be closer to the mic.
Okay.
Because we
The video is very bad. If the stats okay, it's good. It's just that the audio is
Okay. Is everyone done submitting?
It's like slow, very low quality, it's like very long.
Let's take a look at the form responses.
Wait, don't
Sorry, the palette responses.
it's not like break right after.
It's okay, we can take a look first.
Okay.
Okay, this period of time is just like for you to see what other people in this room have created. Wow, fucking submissions. See, for this one, like, it's pretty good, but oh, I don't know what this is. But you don't have like a location for the person to input their required information, for example. And you have to consider that as well, like when you are executing your product. But it's a pretty good attempt. Oh, 16 submissions. This is not loading. Oh. Let's take a. Oh my gosh. Wow, okay. This looks pretty good. Well, okay. But it might be a bit like unreadable because of the way you format it. So you might want to consider adding boxes to like your different prompts so that it's easier for the person to understand. Ooh. Who did this? Did you like look at the graph? UI? The UX? Oh, wow. Okay. That looks pretty good. You did that all in 15 minutes. Okay. Oh. Yeah, this person included the cancel option, which is pretty interesting. Method. Whoa. Okay. This is quite interesting. You have to like format it well so that the arrows don't overlap when you are planning for your UX design. So it's easier for like your teammates to understand when you're working on the hackathon. This is really cute. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. How do you do this in 15 minutes? Who did this? Oh,
Wait a sec.
oh. Well, I thought someone, wow, okay. Good job.
So why?
I'm going to like disappoint you with the mystery item in the mystery bag. Um, yeah, this is pretty fleshed out. Nice arrows. Yeah, so when you're making your graphs, your flow charts, you also generally want to try and have it go in one direction so it's more readable. This linear graph is pretty efficient, but you also have to consider the deviations in the user experience. It's not necessarily just one-off thing. Yay, this is cute. Wow. Wow. This looks like a cat thing, bro. Wow. Okay, wow, good job. I want to talk to the driver. It's a straight arrow here. This is really cute. Oh. Oh. Yeah, this person has vouchers, which is quite interesting. You can consider that.
Wait, I think it's homepage show the
Can you read it louder?
homepage show the price, size, capacity, the distance from user currently, and then next is choose show cat info. It's confirm booking cat. Yes, show maps where
Your location and the cab's distance from you is shown. Not bad. Oh, I like the color coding on this one. This also helps with your visualization. Oh, this is really cute. Oh. Wow, okay.
That's it.
I'm just gonna skim through the rest. But thank you everyone for your submissions. We really appreciate it. For the next 5 minutes, you will be having a break and we will look through your responses and award the top 3 of you, whoever we like, the mystery prize from the mystery bag. In the meantime, you can go take a toilet break, or if you are bored, you can access this website for a little taster into what is to come for 5 minutes. So at 4:22, and I'm gonna continue playing songs.
Okay, there's a 26 one. Five.
What did you just Can Jinghen come up to the front and stick your hand in the mystery bag of mystery things? Yeah. You can do more.
Okay, do the casino sound. Like,
Okay, our next winner is
like casino.
Help. Who is Help? Yeah, come and stick your hand in the mystery bag. And the last winner is Olivia and Abigail. Would you guys like to come down and grab? Or like one of them, one of you. I think this is pretty nice. Thank you. No problem. This is really long. Yeah. And it's color coded as well. Okay. So how many of you tried out the website? Raise your hands. Did you like it? Was it rage bait? Okay. So let's cover UI design next. UI design stands for user interface, which is the name of this website here, but misspelled. So what is user interface? User interface is designing like the interface, right? It mainly deals with the aesthetics of your website and how your website will look to the user when they access it. And you might think like, okay, that sounds really similar to UX. So what are the differences? UX design is essentially the experience, it is the entire interaction that you have with the product, whereas UI interface is the visual elements. What does that mean? UX interface can mean your wireframes and your flowcharts, whereas user interface would be your more aesthetic elements such as buttons, branding, color schemes, etc. You prepare for UX user research, whereas UI, you do vigorous rounds of testing for your branding. So for UX, it's essentially like catering to your users. Oh, UX is like catering to your users' needs and abilities.
So do we unmute?
Yes. UI, whereas UI is what will make your users like you and remember you for, and they go hand in hand in that sense to deliver a satisfactory website experience. So this is where I will talk more about design. So UI, you want to think about your branding. So when you're planning out your branding, consider the purpose of your product as well as from before, your audience and what they like. So when it comes to branding, you have color scheme, imagery, and typography. So this might get a bit dry, but stay with me here. When it comes to color scheme, your branding should be kept consistent across the product for memorability. And this should be generally how you use your branding throughout. For example, in the Google products, they have a very general color scheme, even though their products may differ. But you'll realize that when you click on each of these products, the color scheme remains more or less the same. Like they have the blue buttons and then the red delete buttons, etc., etc. And so the way like branding can look like, for example, it's not necessarily just like your standard rainbow color scheme. You have these other color palettes that you can look at as well. And these are taken from this website, coolers.co, which is a color generation website. That is quite useful. And they have some preset palettes. So for example, we look at this palette here and we might think, okay, this is more of a nature earthy vibe. So maybe something more zen. This one is more colorful. So maybe the website is more bold and eclectic. And this one is pastel and pink. So maybe this is a more girly pop website. You never know. Another example, let's take a look at the BBCS December and June conference branding. You can see here that both of them have the same color scheme, right? Or more or less, it's the dark blue, orange, white, and then some varying shades of red. But they look pretty different. Why is that so? Not only are their color schemes slightly different, they have different imageries as well. For example, the December one is more pixelated and it was actually inspired by the Windows 95, the Windows 95 internet, because it's a web dev conference. So maybe that is the kind of imagery you have in mind. Whereas the June conference is more cyberpunk. It is more, there's like more realistic elements that you will not see here. and it has that kind of Windows kind of vibe, but it is more futuristic in that sense because the June conference topic was on AI, which is more futuristic and perhaps more abstract, and which is why we went for a more abstract kind of design. Additionally, you would want to look at the typography. Typography also determines a lot of how your brand will be perceived. Generally, I would recommend using 1 or 2 fonts, one for headers and one for body paragraphs. But if you have a special element, in this case, BBCS is a code conference, so they will need a separate font for code, which we will not need in this workshop, but you will see it across the other workshops. And so this is the font that they will use. Also for color scheme, you can kind of see that while there is a color scheme going on here, you have primary, secondary, tertiary colors. This is quite basic, but if you need a general guideline, there is a 70 to 20 to 10 rule, 70% being your primary colors, 20% being your secondary colors, and 10% being your tertiary colors. And you can accomplish this by making your primary colors the main subject of your backgrounds and your text, etc., to fill in a lot more of the space. We can look at another one. This is the NEA website. It is an environmental agency. You can kind of see how their branding is influenced by what they do. For example, it is a more green and blue color scheme, reminding you of the earth or trees for the green, sea and the sky for blue. And they have certain imagery as well that you will not necessarily see in other websites if they present the same information because they are an environmental website. Color. Let's talk color. So when you're choosing your colors for your branding, you have to think about the colors and mood that the emotions evoke. And you can choose your colors from this website here. But to emphasize my point, red can be warning signs. For example, you want this for your delete buttons, your undo buttons. Are you sure you want to do these buttons? That can be the color of those buttons, red. Warning. Yellow can be happiness. It can be more cozy. It can be more uplifting and happy. Green, okay, green is meant to be more peace and nature related, but this is like the brand color scheme. Yeah. Blue can be more serene or melancholic, whereas purple can be more mysterious or to certain people Y2K, right? It's very Y2K style. And generally when you're selecting your color palette, your color scheme, there is a formulaic pattern for you, which are these color wheels. And Lagos complementary, triadic, monochromatic, split complementary. But remember, when you are using these arrows, the idea for these arrows is that you want to use it to point to a certain color, and then whatever is directly opposite will be the other color that you use. And that's just how you use the arrows in general. But when you are selecting your colors in this way, make sure that you also properly delegate which are the primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. It is also important to note that you don't have to follow these patterns if you do not want to. Next, typography. So once again, stick to 1 or 2 fonts, one for titles, paragraphs, and then the code font if you want to distinguish special elements. Why is that so? Because if you, this is a common mistake people tend to make, but if you have too many fonts, it will look very, very messy and often very uncoordinated. And your branding may not come may not be as consistent throughout your entire product because there are so many options for you. So if you want to do typography and stick to 1 or 2 fonts, but you have different things you want to talk about or have more variation, then you can use the preset italics, bold, or underline font options for you, or different font weights. In this case, this is the font Comforta. Yes, and they have other fonts also have regular bold, etc., and you can play with that as well. Contrast. This is quite straightforward. You want to make sure your website is readable, especially for those who are visually impaired. This means that you have to have light text on dark background, dark text on light background, etc., and make sure that their values are not too similar. This can help you create content hierarchies for you. Remember the Google Analytics website where they use different color scheme, different colors for the fonts to distinguish between important and not so important information. Another thing is selection and group content. You can choose to use lines to group your content, or you could use different colors to make it stand out more or less against the background. And in that sense, you can also kind of arrow to your viewers like which information is the most important. And like this is an example for you if you want to use text on a picture. Next, layout. Your layout should work for everyone. When you are designing your product, you need to keep in mind that your users will use different devices across, like that they will use your product across different devices, and you have to design for it accordingly. You have to ensure that when you are designing, there are certain elements in your branding that can be easily adapted across all the platforms. For example, this is the Wikipedia desktop web browser version, and this is the Wikipedia on mobile version. And you can kind of see where they make certain trade-offs. For example, Wikipedia here, they have this navigation bar that is quite, I would say is quite important for their branding because everyone's kind of used to this. But in their mobile app version, they don't have the space for this. So they compromise and then they make it with a 3-line bar. You can't really see it, but you can click more and access the navigation bar. And even though they make these trade-offs, you will see these two screens, and you can kind of still tell that they are from the same company. And this is because of how they use the different branding elements. For example, they have the layout more or less the same, big title, small text, etc. The fonts are the same, and they keep their logo across all the different products, no matter which screen you view it from. And this is the kind of branding that you want to keep in mind and ensure that you keep it consistent throughout. And the idea is that you want to ensure that everyone has a good viewing experience. So if you're designing your hackathon product or any other product in general, you want to think about how your users will be accessing your product. If it is meant to be a mobile app, then spend more time ensuring that your design is compatible with the phone instead of the laptop, for example. Next, under layout, you also have visual hierarchy. Generally, this is also quite straightforward. You want to arrange your content in order of importance. And when it comes to certain screens like mobile apps, it's a bit difficult for you to have everything all in one go. So you have to be more decisive and omit the content that you might deem not as necessary. And you can do this by collapsing your elements or reducing the number of elements and add different like navigation or drop-down menus for them to access these features instead. The idea is that you still want it to be attention grabbing and keep the main information there, while also ensuring that your branding remains consistent. For example, New York Times, you can see they have the main news story of the day. And then from here, you can see where you can access the rest of the other stories, which is the main point because they are a newspaper app, right? And then from here below, less important, but still quite important, you have their shorts, the NYT gains, and your profile, etc. Next, margins. We're almost there, guys. Please stay with me. So margins is the space all around your elements. It is basically just, I mean, to be fair, it might not seem very straightforward to you, like, why is this important? But with time, you'll come to realize that margins is important to make your final product look as professional and as polished as possible. Even with the slides here, you can kind of feel like something is off because the pictures here are not aligned properly. There's improper gaps and it is not in a straight line. And this will make your user feel very thrown off and they will feel like they don't really want to use your website anymore because maybe like some random person coded it and not professional. Okay, quiz time. Let's talk branding. I'm going to pose a question and then whoever fastest hand who answers the question gets to stick their hand in the mystery bag again. Okay, what brand do you think has this branding scheme? What is it? Correct. You can.
I was gonna say chocolate. Oh my god, because it's black, it's red, it's yellow. It's chocolate.
Okay. Well, can you help me?
Yeah.
McDonald's, correct. This is Helvetica Black. What brand is this? Correct. It is TikTok. The name of this font is TikTok Sans, so I couldn't really write it down. But they have their own special font. And you can kind of see how font is like synonymous with the branding because a lot of these companies invest in like specialized fonts that you can't really get anywhere else to distinguish their brand identity. Next. Oh, yes. Just a note. the primary, secondary, tertiary colors also make a difference. I feel like this is more identifiable than if I use this color scheme instead. Next brand.
So my favorite one.
It is IKEA, but you raised your hands.
Oh, I thought it becomes.
Never mind. Who said IKEA first?
And about this
Can you just give them like one candy?
Wait.
This font is called IKEA Sans, if I'm not wrong. I'm not sure why there's a Mickey Mouse. Okay, while they're doing that, the next one will be just a font. So can you tell me the company based on the font only? Oh, who yelled out and said, oh, wait. You raise your hands. What's the brand? Correct. Okay. It is Burger King. Next one. I think this is our last one, so please lock in. 3, 2, 1. Alright, please raise your hands. The guy at the back. Yeah. So you're correct. It is Apple. Apple has this font also open source, and you can use it for Figma, which we may or may not cover later on. Yeah. All right. So just a quick summary. When you're looking at UI design, you want to look at branding, so colors, motifs, typography, design, layout across the visual platforms and for visual hierarchy, as well as consider your margins when you are structuring out your design. Here are some resources for you to refer to, especially if you're working on the hackathon. Just like to go through, this is an open source collection of websites. This is Pinterest. This is, yeah. These are open source vectors and icons that I would recommend you using for a hackathon since they're already readily made. I would not recommend you using AI to generate these images just because I don't stand with generative AI. Design languages. These are some open source materials provided by different brands for you to use. You can also use it in Figma. And here's another break. You can try to play with the userinterface.com now that you've gone through the UI lesson, and come back in another 5 minutes. So at 4:45, and Boan will start on the Figma portion.
Okay, I'm gonna Yeah, I'm gonna take a place.
Okay, bye-bye. Chris, can you sit here for me? Like, I want to be empty. This is exactly what I want to look around.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Hi, Brian. Then you are. What's the next? What's the next question? UI.
Yeah.
Hey, this hey, people are blocking the way. Bro, you're making my neighbors move, bro.
It's a game. By the way, the website I just introduced you is a game. It's pretty fun. You can kind of just see what like not to do when you're doing UI UX design. Oh my god. Yeah. You can play it on in your own time. Or like right now, because we have time. 3 more minutes.
No, I'm not. I'm bring before the. Okay, actually, I need it.
How long does the Figma activity take?
I don't know, until we finish. Until the workshop is. Just stay here.
Very funny. I died laughing. I died laughing.
Keep it down here.
45.
Okay. We'll be in the Zoom meeting, right?
No.
I said like in the microphone.
By the way, that's the idea. Okay. Anyways.
Oh my god.
The camera.
How do I?
Do you see the camera? You can like spy on them, bro.
Oh, what? Why did the camera go back down? Why did the camera go like back down? What?
Wait, like this is the remote for the camera.
Okay.
Down.
Oh, yes. What's next?
Today.
The
entire room.
Yep.
If you guys would like more snacks, there are snacks here. There are Oreos. You can come to the front.
Yes, I don't big back. No, you sit there, bro. Bro, I know you, bro.
And then once you're done, we'll start on the Figma.
Real.
Get away from me.
I think too for myself.
I think I just got
Interaction.
Like, what do you mean, like, when I reach it, right?
I reach into your bag.
Like,
The chocolate bag.
oh,
Is that all? Or is that
I tried to get up to something like,
no,
yeah.
sorry.
It's like, you know, like casino, it's like when you go, it's like, no, Then they hit that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm impressed.
No.
Actually finished.
Yeah.
The camera's being shuttered.
Yeah, I know.
We did this.
Hi. So I'm just gonna. Hello. Can everyone hear me like this?
Annie, can you hear one? One's been
Hello.
can hear, right? Okay.
Okay, so welcome to the Figma section of this workshop. So yeah, I'll be walking you through basically how to develop your prototypes in Figma. So first of all, what is Figma? It's a web-based design software that allows you to make prototypes, basically. So you can use the web version, but for this workshop specifically, I'll be demonstrating on the app, although I don't really see a huge difference. So how do you set up the app? You go to this link over here, you download the desktop app, you sign up for a free account. You have to do this regardless of whether you're using the desktop app or you're using the web version. And you can use the QR code to download the demo file, or you can just type in this link.
But we recommend you using the web app. So just set up your Figma account like right now.
So I'm gonna move on now.
Wait. Does anyone need more time on this step? If you need more time, raise your hands. Oh my god.
Okay. I'll wait like 20 more seconds.
More time, yes, no? No. 10? Okay, 10.
Alright, so now let's go into the actual tutorial section of it. So once you open Figma and you create a new project, this should be the first thing that you see. So I'm gonna break this down bit by bit so that y'all can like fully understand what you're seeing. So on the left here, you'll see this search bar. You can use it to search for libraries of different assets that you can use in your Figma prototype.
Sorry, whose sound is that? Can you lower it?
There's no way you're that dumb.
Okay, can continue.
Okay. Going back to the topic at hand. So this middle section right here is something called your canvas. This is where you'll be placing all your visual elements. This right section over here is what I will call the right toolbar. It's where you edit the properties of your selected objects. For example, if I selected a sphere, the properties of the sphere will appear in the right toolbar for me to edit. So let's move on to the bottom toolbar. This is actually where you'll be spending a lot of your clicks because it contains quite a few essential tools that you need to use. So, and also additionally, you see this little arrow over here. It's actually a drop menu which has a few more functions related to the main thing we have over here. So first of all, we have the mouse tool. You can basically just use it to select an object and either resize it or move it. The drop menu contains the hand tool, which is just meant for moving around objects, and the scale tool, which is meant for resizing objects, although it has a special interaction with text that I'll show you all later. Next is your frame. Now, this is possibly one of the most important functions you'll ever use in Figma because it allows you to add something called a frame to your Figma project. So what is a frame? A frame is basically an area that lets you put all your buttons and your UI. Yeah, it's just where you put all your buttons, your UI, your UX, whatever. So a good way to think of it is think of a frame as kind of your screen where you place all your things. Did everyone get it? Okay. So this is an example of a frame. In this white box is actually just your frame over here. In there, normally I'll just place buttons and text. So if you select the frame and you go to the right toolbar, you should see something called a layout guide. Now, all this really does is it adds a grid so that when you put elements into the frame, it snaps to the grid so you can align things easier. Honestly, it's up to you whether you want to use this or not. Next, we have the shape tool. Now, this one just allows you to add different shapes to your Figma project. If you use the drop menu, you can basically get more shapes like stars, ellipses, triangles. Yeah, the pen tool. This allows you to make shapes, but using something called nodes. Honestly, I don't really use this that much because most of the time you're just making weird shapes that don't really have a place in your Figma prototype. So next, this is the text function, and yeah, you can add text with it. Next is the comments. You can add comments with it. And this one is also kind of interesting. Is the actions button. Now, if you have an object selected and you click on the actions button, you can basically perform different things on your selected object. For example, you can flip it horizontally, flip it vertically, and more. Now, how do you group elements together? It's basically how you would group files in your file explorer. So what you have to do is you have to hold shift and click multiple elements at once, or you can use your mouse and create a selection field. Kind of exactly the same as you do in your file explorer. Next, you press right click and then you select group selection. Does everyone understand? Okay. Okay. So the next thing in your bottom toolbar is the modes function. Now the one on the squiggly line on the left basically allows you to enter your free draw mode. This just has a bunch of functions for you to like freely draw with like a pencil, a pen, whatever. And the other one is your default mode, which oftentimes you'll be using more of the time. And if you're wondering what the third one is, it's the dev mode, which is a paid feature. So if you go to the right toolbar, apart from the design, you should see this other icon here. This is the prototype menu. So what is the prototype menu? It's basically the kind of development section of your prototype. You know, with design, you work on how it looks and all that. Well, the prototype tab actually lets you control how your prototype works. And you can do things like assign buttons. So again, you can go to the right toolbar, the top of it, to access the prototype tab. And something very important, very, very, very important, before you actually start work on your Figma project, you have to know what device you want to work with. Because if you click on the canvas and you go into the prototype menu, you should see this prototype settings menu. Now it won't look like this. In fact, this little thing over here will just say no device. What's very important is that you need to select a device that you're using. And basically what this does is when you run your Figma prototype, it'll basically run a kind of window of the specific size of that device. And if you don't, your graphics will be very wonky. Okay, is everyone following thus far? Like just thumbs up if you're following. Okay, bro. Oh, VJ. Okay, so now let's try and demo how to build a very rudimentary shopping app. So, following the earlier design principles, here's my extremely bare bones flowchart. So as you can see, first the user views the product, and then once the user inevitably decides to buy the product, they go to the buy screen. So first of all, I'm fine.
You can just put the mic on your shirt.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put the mic on my
Okay.
shirt. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, right, is to go into Figma demo. You can just select create a new file if you think this is simpler. So what I'm gonna do here is first I'm gonna select the canvas. I'm gonna go into the prototype menu. Again, I just hover my cursor over the canvas, I click, and then I just hit to the right toolbar and select prototype.
Remember to make a copy of your own file.
So what you should see here is exactly what you should see on your own Figma. It just says no device. For the purposes of this, I'm just gonna select this, and you should see a bunch of frame options. Now this is basically what application you're designing your Figma prototype for. So I'm just gonna select iPhone 16. And everyone following so far?
If you need help, please raise your hands so that the facilitators know.
Okay. So next, to create a prototype, I need a screen to design it on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on the frame icon in the bottom toolbar, and then you see all these frame options. Well, I could select paper. So since the frame that I set for the project is an iPhone 16, I'm gonna go into the frame menu over here, select phone, and you should see there's a frame that is labeled iPhone 16. If I click this, there's like a little crosshair, and you just click, and then it just adds a frame like that. Okay.
You can do it for that one slip.
I can hear the what?
You know, for that one slip.
Okay. Sorry. So what this frame basically is a frame specifically fit for the iPhone 16 screen. This ensures that there's no like cropping of elements that you wanted to be in there, but because the frame you selected or the device you selected isn't fit to your frame, then it will crop out the excess elements. So it's a shopping app, right? So I'm just gonna create a banner on top. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select the shape tool over here, and you should see by default it's set to a rectangle. Now how you create a rectangle is kind of identical to how you would in any other application. Just click and drag the mouse, and then you create a rectangle. Now maybe I want to edit the color of the rectangle. So I will click on it, go to the right toolbar, and you see all the attributes of the rectangle. So maybe I just want it to be green. I'm just gonna edit the color under fill. This was good enough. So right, and what if I want to add text in the banner? Well, I'll just go text and click. And you should see a tiny text box. And then I'm just gonna type. So obviously this is quite small for text. No one's gonna be able to see this. So what if I wanted to resize it? Well, by default, I'll just use this tool, right? But you see, if you use the normal mouse select, right, you only change like the size of the text box. You don't really change the size of the text itself. So for this,
You can take it faster.
okay. So to change the actual size of the text, you need to go to the drop menu for the mouse, and you need to select scale. You should see the icon change like this. Now, if I use the scale, you see that it's a slightly different cursor when I hover over the corners. And what it does is, if I resize it while having scale selected as my mouse under the mouse selector, you'll see that it resizes both the text box and the text. And same as before, kind of, if you want to edit attributes, go to the right toolbar. And then let's say I wanted to insert an image. And then no, I got something even better. So it's two methods. You can go to the web, copy the image, and then paste it in like this. Or if you already had the image in your computer and you want to import it in, you can just go to the shape icon and go to the drop menu. Now here you should see the image/video tab there. Just click it and you can just import a kind of like basically anything in your photos library. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So right, again, I'm just gonna resize the thing like this. And and if I wanted to create a buy button, you know, why not make it circular? I just go to the drop menu and then select not that. Select the ellipse. And if I wanted to make it like a perfect circle, I just hold shift while I'm doing it. Yeah. And I create a perfect circle. Next, what if I just want I'm just gonna add some text saying buy now. And it's a bit big, right? So I just use the scale tool again to resize it and then I drag it. And what if I wanted to group these two elements into like one singular object? I just shift and select both of them, right click, and you should see the group selection over here. Yeah, now it's just grouped into one and you see I move it as a group. Now, if there's another screen, I'm just gonna add another frame. Now this will be my second screen. Yeah. So right, if I wanted to make, okay, just imagine the second one. Imagine the second screen as like your checkout. I know it's a bit hard to imagine it, but try your best here. So right, if I wanted to make this buy now screen, go to the checkout menu. I'll first have to go into the prototype settings. Next, I have to select this button here. And since I grouped it all together, it just gets selected as one object. And now if you hover around the corners, right, you see this plus icon. If you click it and you drag it, you have this arrow. Now this arrow, if you hover it close to your other frame, it auto snaps. Now what this basically does is, whenever the user clicks this button, you follow the arrow, they'll be redirected to this screen. Now how do I make it so that this screen basically appears first when the user opens the prototype? I just right click on the frame and then I just select. Well, normally there's an option to put it as add starting point to symbolize that that's where you want the user to start, but this one's already the starting point. So if I just run the prototype, if all goes well, I should see shopping app screen first. Okay. So right, it's probably taking a while to load. But like you see, if I click the buy now button, I get redirected to this screen. Does everyone like get how this works? Give me a thumbs up if you're okay. Okay. So what if I wanted to? Oh. Yeah, you can also drag images like this.
So you have to make sure all the elements are within the frame. If not, it will not show up during the prototype.
So what if I wanted to make this screen the first, like the right screen, the first one, the first thing the user sees? I'll click this and right click on the frame. If you scroll to the bottom, you see add starting point. And then I just go to the first one. I kind of just remove the starting point. And then okay.
Well, there's something wrong. It's okay.
Yeah, there's something wrong, I think. It's
Okay.
fine.
We'll figure it out and get back to you. But just to reiterate, if you want to, design and prototype on this right toolbar here, there are two different things. Design deals with the aesthetics, and prototype is where you will link your arrows. So if you want arrows, you have to click on prototype. Just see prototype as the UX design, whereas design is your UI. I think you have to delete the connection.
Yeah, totally do.
It's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all right.
Yeah, that should be all for the Figma demo. Now, okay. Now I'm gonna give y'all like 5 minutes. Just play around with Figma, see what you can do, and kind of figure things and find things out.
So you have until 5:12. And then if you need any help when it comes to understanding Figma, do raise your hands to let the facilitators know. Generally, the shopping app demo is just to familiarize yourself with the most rudimentary functions.
The food is done. Food is done. You can go.
You just help like not the fast.
We're gonna play like some random ass music.
Oh yeah, we can. You want?
No,
No. Silence.
I mean it's your choice. Okay.
I mean, I haven't finished playing electric.
Online participants basically design the thingy and submit it in the pad, like.
Okay.
And if you win, you also get this for free.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you win, you get an enamel pin. And in the meantime, if you have song
Yeah.
requests,
And
just type it in the Discord
and
because
this
I
for free.
ran out of songs.
You get this for free.
I think it has Rust on it from like the wait. I think it got caught on the start.
Yeah, I think
Rusted
has
off.
like some spike, man.
Rusted off his mind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and get the enamel pin. Oh, hi.
Like the tooth thing.
Huh?
Second tooth thing.
What the pin?
Wait. I think
That's what I also thought. Honestly, I think it's
it's
important.
another. It's
Hi,
another in glass.
virtual participants.
enamel
If
is
you
like
are
the
listening to me, you can also submit your own ride-hailing app designs if you would like.
Right.
But I have no way of getting the gift to you, so I am really sorry about that. But if you are showing up for the fourth day and if you win, then I will let me know and I will give it to you. Yeah. Sorry, we're kind of new at this.
Who are you talking to?
Online.
Hi, what are you up to? That's really cool. Let's look at the other side of the room.
Press the other direction.
Oh my god.
Oh, you mean because the other direction is triple call. That's an organizer, right?
But what are you up to?
I'm gonna make right and I will hopefully
Can you show the screen to the camera, which is over there? Yeah, okay, that's it for our mid activity break. Let's go back to our scheduled activities.
Okay, stop.
The music. Why is it all jet music?
Oh. What the hell is happening?
Whose taste is this? That's such
Not
shit
mine.
taste.
I'm not a particular fan of this song. I don't.
Okay, we are moving on.
This is not your workshop.
This is like the most vital song I've heard. Right?
It was explained.
Okay, I need to realize.
Wait, don't play it. Open them, please.
How do you connect a button to a page? Because I have no idea. Prototype, and then you should see the notes. Where?
Okay, let's start looking through as people are submitting. And let's start with Nathan. In the meantime, can you guys also add comments to your favorites so that we know which ones people like as you guys are looking through?
Oh,
Yo, he's the goal, man.
How do I? Okay. Your image might not be within the frame, which is why it's missing from the prototype. Oh, okay. Okay. So we have a coordinates. Okay, we can import coordinates in this guy's app. Okay. Return to home. Alright. That's the Minecraft one. This is Renjin's. Renjin. Yes. As I'm looking through, you guys can also look through the palette in your own time and then like add comments like, hey, I really like this one and this should win a prize, and then like post it. Yeah. So that we know.
He just posted it though.
And-
Actually.
Who is Billy Bob? Oh. Oh,
What?
okay. Can noted.
He's approaching. Wait, I don't have the girlfriend.
This is a screenshot. Oh, there we go.
Wait, can I like explain the jokes?
Whoa. Okay, wow. That's pretty cool. They have a point system.
This is just like one.
Oh, it's all right. There probably wasn't enough time. This is pretty cool. Okay, wow. My Wi-Fi is really bad.
Press preview.
I think it's just the Wi-Fi.
You see when you go there, the present preview, just set preview.
Oh, okay, wow. Oh my god, got sign in with Google. Wow, got terms and conditions some more. This is pretty cool. Oh, this one scrolls also. Okay.
Oh, she puts me ads in this one.
Okay. Okay, let's go to the Epstein one. Oh my, okay. How do I... Can you comment your link, please? I cannot access the thing. We can look at the Epstein one later.
Should probably close the other Figma. The computer starts exploding.
Okay, wheels on the car. Oh,
So you
okay. Sure,
don't have the right one.
let's see. Oh, this is the one we looked at just now. Okay, you don't have buttons linking your pages to across different pages, so it's a bit difficult to navigate. Why, Mr. Beast there? But you should add buttons. And I think something that you guys might be missing is there's no button to switch between the two. And you can do that by linking the two screens. So you can create a button here, link it to this screen, and simultaneously you can create a button here and link it back to this screen, just so it's easier for us to navigate. Let's see if the Epstein one has been updated.
What, more files?
a link.
Why are you so interested in FC?
I can't. Oh, I also
No,
can't.
I think she went to the island. She might be one of the kids there.
Files?
Like, imagine
Oh,
This
okay.
was a
I don't
link.
want to talk about it now.
Imagine it's just a link to the FC.
I think she was actually one of the kids there.
What?
Whoa. Okay.
Oh.
No. Oh yeah, this one has like a back and forth. Yeah, this is the kind of mechanism I'm talking about when you're doing your prototyping. I can't see the sides though. I'm so sorry.
Okay. No one is. This one's cool. This one's not bad.
In the meantime, I'm just gonna scroll through because I don't know if we have enough time. This one is pretty nice. Wow. Okay. Can you guys also look through and like just comment the ones that you like?
This one's not bad.
Oh. Oh no. What's going on here? Oh, you again. This is really nice, very aesthetic. Oh, okay. In the meantime, let me see if I've loaded the. Oh,
You have to decide.
I have to request
give up
access.
prices, so.
Okay, it's pretty nice. All right, I think. Oh, there's still more. Okay, there's still more. In the meantime, Bon is going through it, so don't worry if I haven't like opened your file because this is quite time consuming and the SMU Wi-Fi is kind of bad. I cannot access your file. Oh, okay. Yep. Oh, you don't. I don't think you have. Oh, you have buttons. Buttons? Oh, all of them link to the same thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, go. I went to there a while ago. Yeah, go.
Oh. Why this one got ads one?
Okay, this. Bro, there's ads everywhere. Why is there ads everywhere?
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Bro, this is like every modern website I go to.
This.
Okay.
Why do you have so many ads?
Don't worry, you'll get hired by corporate.
Okay. This one?
I think Minecraft wins, man.
Okay.
Oh,
This one is pretty cool. It's pretty like neat, I think. Okay, this is the Mr. Beast one. Okay. Give us like 2 minutes to get back to you on this. Okay? You guys get like a 2-minute break. And we will let you know soon.
Oh, this is.
Okay, which ones? We give
Sorry.
the ad one.
There's no ones.
Hurry up.
Oh, this. So I thought it's not bad.
I think this is not bad.
Which one? This one. No, it's not bad.
Goldfish.
Sounds kind of clean. And then this one's not even lame.
Whoever made the Epstein one, can I look at it?
Release the files.
Oh, it's nice.
Yo, you were the one that made the Epstein one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was you.
No.
We're using this one, right?
He has good taste in children.
And then the ad one. Just do the ad one. That one's got a lot of links. There's a lot of like. And then the Minecraft one.
The ones with all the green.
No, actually,
so
no.
much green.
Let's give this one and then
Christmas.
No, I think he should win it though.
No, Minecraft honorary mention.
this one. This one.
Really?
This one's not bad. I think it's
No,
fine.
yeah, this one was the one I was gonna pick originally.
Okay, first place.
First place, I'll give it to the like.
But this one is crop. Like,
Oh yeah. Then first place should be. First place, honestly. Oh, actually. Not really properly, but I think there's more effort. But honestly, it's not.
I think we got it.
Wait, where did I put it?
Okay. I think we got our winners. When I call your host name, can you please just come up and collect your prize? In third place, can I have the one with ads?
What the hell?
Can the ad person come in for third place? You can stick your head. That's one plus one. Not that much.
Oh man.
Not that much.
Come on. But I would have done the same thing.
There you
man.
go. Thank you. Okay. In second place, can we get
Absolutely. Oh.
blue right share individual? Oh, hi. You too can stick your hand in the mystery bag. Can everyone clap for her, please? And in first place, can Yahan come down and collect? Oh, okay. Well, in honorary mention, can we have Nathan with the Minecraft ride-hailing app? There you go.
Please don't take my entire handful.
Yeah, there you go.
He's taking
Thank you so much for your
Wonderful contribution.
wonderful ingenious contribution to our workshop. And I will speak to Yahan afterwards. So I think this is about the end of our Figma workshop. You can fill in our feedback form so that we can conduct a better session for our next room. Thank you everyone for your contributions to our Padlet, even though we may not have been able to show it on screen. We appreciate it nonetheless, and we hope that you learned something new. If you want us to showcase your project, you can raise your hand or something.
So I think this is
So we'll give you 2 more minutes to scan the QR code. No,
oh man. No sense.
I didn't do it.
Oh man.
And once you're done, thank you so much for joining our workshop. Once again, thank you to SMU, GitHub, CSIT, Youth Tech, Expressive, Wizard Zines, DDAS, HTX, and Singapore Printing for sponsoring. And you are free to leave once you are done with the form.